Hey, Christian Fellowship. It is Monday, just afternoon, and this empty sanctuary is one of my favorite places to just kind of come and reflect. And this morning, this afternoon, I'm gonna be giving you announcements. But first, I wanted to talk for just a minute. And so if you want to skip ahead, I'm not sure how long that'll be, but one of the things that I like a lot in literature is this idea of a hero's journey. And one of the things that happens pretty frequently in books, movies, whatever, on the hero's journey, the hero often loses the thing that the hero leans on the most, or the thing that the hero relies on the most. And so in one of the books I love, one of the heroes is this world famous swordsman, and at one point his hand gets chopped off, and so in the process of him coping with losing his most prized talent, his most prized attribute, the hero begins to grow into a hero that he wouldn't have been if he had his most prized thing. This morning I was in my class and we were talking, and funny enough, we were talking about the text that I talked about yesterday, and I didn't know this, probably should have, but in Greek or in Hebrew and in Aramaic, there is no way that you could possibly say, "This is my body." It just was an impossible sentence construction. And so the place when Jesus sat down with his followers, he would have more likely said, "This is me." And just reflecting on kind of the beauty and the joy, and so he's saying, "Do this in remembrance of me." And so it's not just taking communion and Lord's Supper, but it's sitting down and having a meal. It's breaking bread, remembering who Jesus is, who he was, and who he wants us to be. I'm thinking about the current world that we're in, and we are, all of us, sad and disappointed. What we do best, what we rely on the most of the time happens here in this room. And so it's a bit like this hero's journey, in that the thing that we rely on, the thing that we have put a lot of our time and effort into, is taken away from us. And so the question is, will we embrace this moment to grow and to change, to allow God to shape us by this, and to become, hopefully, a better version of the church for the world going forward? And we don't have any, nobody knows when things will be normal again, but one of my prayers is that we don't feel normal again, CFC. My prayer is that we become better than we ever were as a result of this. And what that means to me is that, kind of like I've said before, we recognize that what we do here on Sunday is not church. And this building is not church. But you are the church, and I am the church. God, the Holy Spirit, doesn't just reside here. Doesn't just reside here on Sundays. He resides among us every day of the week. And yesterday I kind of encouraged you to think about this concept of breaking bread with outsiders, breaking bread with others. And as you break bread, you remember Jesus and you embrace the Jesus story. And one of the opportunities we have in this is to recognize that our mission is not carried out on Sunday mornings, but our mission is carried out any time and any place we break bread. And so we can still be a church on mission, even when the world is falling apart, even when the world is chaotic. We introduced this idea of supper clubs for the fall. Fall was going to be our outreach time, and we had great plans, and those plans were dashed on the rocks of COVID, right? And next year, we're hoping things eventually return to normal, but next summer we're going to shift to where summer is our outreach season. But we're still in outreach season. We're talking about outreach, and one of the things that we always do as modern human beings is that we let perfect get in the way of anything that we can, in any kind of progress. And so it's okay to just take a couple stumbling steps, and it's okay to just do a little bit. It's okay to only do what you can do. And what I want to encourage you to think about doing is be intentional about relating to somebody that is not a follower of Jesus, and let the conversation go from there. Trust the Holy Spirit to guide you and ask questions, but take the first step. Ask them to eat. If you're not comfortable with that, ask them to eat food over a Zoom room. There's all kinds of ways. And listen, church family, probably you are feeling isolated and lonely. That is true of our whole world right now. People need to know that they matter. So I want to encourage you. You may feel comfortable doing a full supper club. That's still on the table. You're still allowed to do that. Some people weren't able to. Some families weren't able to. But part of our goal in shifting our church is that we move away from this idea that CFC will program things and then everyone will participate in them. And instead we say, we are the church, and wherever we go, the church is going, and whatever we do, the church is doing. And so we want to behave as Jesus would have us behave. We're also anticipating and hoping that when we do get back to normal, that our worship will be reinvigorated, and I think it will. We've missed people, and I know I'm not alone in that. And so one of the things that we're doing, and we're getting into announcements a little bit now. I'm going to take you on a walking tour here. One of the things we're doing is we're investing some time and some money, some resources into our facilities. And we don't do that because we think this is the church, but we do that because our building is a tool for us to be the church. Our building is a place where we can come and we can be the church in a good way. And so one of the things that we recognize is that our classrooms weren't serving us as well as they could. And so we're doing some renovations on those. So I'm going to take you down and we'll look at those right now. So we do still have a few changes we're going to do in this sanctuary. Eventually we want to drop that stage a little bit, and then we have some other kind of look and feel things we're going to be doing, but I'll keep you up to date on that as we can. We're just going through the lobby here. First I'm going to take you to what's becoming the adult classroom, and I'm not sure the last time most of you have been in there, and so this is over where the old theater and preschool room was. And our facilities staff person, Aaron, has been working pretty hard in here. I want to give you a little bit of a visual tour. And I want you to conceive of this room as if this is now the church's living room, the church building's living room. And so what we're going to do is right over here, we're going to have kind of a kitchenette area. And the idea is that people will be comfortable in here, that this will be a place where we can come and relax, build community in a nice and informal type of way. We want to have classrooms in here, but we also want to have conversations in here that people might not have in a worship service or in a sanctuary. So we're going to have a mini kitchen. We're going to have a TV, because what living room is a living room without a TV, and a board for teaching. We're going to have some seating and some cafe tables and things like that. And again, the goal in here is that this becomes kind of our facilities living room. Now, I want to mention this coming Friday night from 6:30 to 7:30. If you are a preschooler, if you belong to a preschooler, if you are even caring about preschoolers, we want to invite you to come by and take a look at what we've been doing in the preschool room. And again, that's 6:30 to 7, but we're getting really close in here. We've got just a few little things to do, and I'm just going to give a brief visual tour because I want you to come on out on Friday evening. We're really close in here. And so the good news with that is once we finish this up, then we can reopen our preschool rooms. We can start having preschool on Sunday mornings again, and hopefully have a preschool class again with some safety precautions and things like that. And so I just want to invite you out. We're going to have some snacks. We are going to ask that you wear a mask, but you can pull that down to have a snack. And we're not going to have a big, strong boxer outside punching people that don't wear masks. We're just asking you to do it. So we've got that going on. The other thing we've got ongoing on Wednesday evenings, I'm doing kind of a Facebook Live class, and we're talking about this concept of what does it mean to be good news people in this world today. The world's changing, and we have an obligation to understand that as best we can, and to recognize that, and to meet the world where the world is. And so that means we have to listen better. And so hope you can join us Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. And then we've got a couple more announcements that are going to be coming regarding the spring soon. And we've got some plans in the works for the spring. And, join me in praying that we have a way out of whatever the current pandemic is by spring, because I'm tired of it, and I think you're tired of it. And, it's just not a good place to be. So, hey, church, we're glad you could join us today for the video announcements. And again, I want to encourage you, don't feel like you have to break bread perfectly with people to break bread and share Jesus with them. A lot of times it's just the intention of saying, hey, I'm trying to understand Jesus' story better, and I'm trying to live it better. You want to hear about that? Hey, thanks for being here. We'll hope to see you soon.